Welcome to Level Up Tribes. Level Up Tribes provides resources to help you attain the necessary resources to level up your mind, body, and soul and realize your full potential. It is about exploring, learning, providing you with the tools from the experts for you to create a better version of yourself. I am your host, Agnes Goodwine, and welcome, Tribes. The collision of Eastern philosophy, metaphysics, martial arts, pop culture, and his Hendrix musical heritage all come together as inspiration and subject matter for artist Banding Hendrix. The artist orchestrates his vision utilizing a variety of media for both private and commercial collections. His roles as a visual interpreter and storyteller is expressed within his unique style, bold color dynamics, and extensive body of work. Banding Hendrix has a degree in graphic design as well as fine art. He has been a full-time artist since 2002 when he formed Hendrix NewLife Motion. Mr. Hendrix works and resides in Arizona. Welcome to Level Up Tribes.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so honored. So let's start. I always like to start from the beginning, your story. How did you get started? Talk me through it.
Ever since a child, very young age, earliest memories of doing art and being around my mom and my sister. My sister was a really good artist, an illustrator. So I remember as 4 years old, just watching my sister draw and do logos and stuff. And I would try to mimic her drawings. And a lot of encouragement from my mother, always saying that I was an artist growing up.
Right.
And that just, I think almost every child is an artist. It's whether or not you keep on being an artist. Just for me, luckily I grew up in an environment where I always had a place to do art, always had supplies. I was really fortunate in that respect. And then growing up, I had, art lessons like, you're born an artist. Some are born artists, some have natural talent, but I always pursued art class and just higher education, I guess. Right. Even, doing this for about 15 years, I went back to school to get my fine art degree, and I was already, 10 years as a full-time artist, but it just felt good being around art again and just trying to keep educating myself.
Yes.
But, just earliest memories of art, really great support structure from my parents, from my family, from friends, and that was always my greatest go-to.
Okay.
I didn't have very many friends growing up, so I would just draw a lot of comic book. Okay. I was really into comic book illustration and pencil work.
Okay, awesome. Explain your art style and how did you come to find your style?
Once again, just getting exposed to different mediums of art. I just kind of pull from what I enjoy looking at. So I like abstract art, impressionism, surrealism, pop art. It's kind of a broad range of stuff, but I pick my artists that I like and just kind of allow my mind to be kind of influenced by it. Okay. Like I said, since I come from a comic book background, I have the ability to conceptualize, where a lot of abstract painters have a problem, drawing things out because they're more abstract purely, which is completely fine. But I really like doing an abstract background now and then doing some type of image.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Amy Winehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Is she one of your favorites?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, of course,
My brother likes her too. What inspires you and what do you aim to say through your work?
The general life, every morning, I go through my life and things are hard, things are tough and stuff, but I have a really fortunate life, so okay. I just being grateful, life, beauty, and I try to think about those things to inspire other people through my art, changing people's environments with my art. It feels really good when people say, I really love your painting, every time I come home, it helps relax me.
Wow.
Or my office, or I just did this mural right down the street in Scottsdale. Nice community mural.
How did that come about?
I just had a mutual friend. He's on their homeowners association.
Oh, okay.
So he got it all approved. And it was just an alley that kids were, I don't know if they're kids, but let's just say that it was just an alley where people were just doing random crappy graffiti. So he got it approved, and it was a nice section of a wall, probably about 40, 50 feet or so. And it just felt really good when people drive by, all different races, all different ages. Oh, wow, it's really awesome. This is my route home, or I live right there and I can see it from my my window and stuff,
Yes.
and that, that really brings me a lot of peace inside.
Well, I saw the before and after pictures, and I was going to ask for your permission to use them on my Facebook page.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, because it's absolutely amazing. What materials do you use, and what's the process and technique for creating these beautiful paintings? Do you use different materials, like you just said, like for the mural? Is that different technique than an actual canvas?
Slightly different. Like if we're doing canvas stuff, I like to build all my own canvases and panels, just because I'm a little bit of a control freak with the process. But also I find that it's the most affordable way for me to do it. So I just get most of my supplies from Home Depot for my building of my canvases and my panels. And that's a process in itself. I remember learning how to build a canvas when I was, I think, 14 in art class.
Okay.
And then when I decided to start painting again in 2002, when I was like, well, what do I want to do with my life? Out of my talents, what can I start making a living off of right now? So I was like, well, art has always been my strongest talent. And I remember I tried to rebuild a canvas, and it was so bad. It was like I couldn't even use it. So I really had to kind of learn how to rebuild canvases. And then even from that day, from 2002 to now, my canvases are improving. The quality is getting better, and just finding different resources for my materials and different ways to build things. So if I'm just working in studio, I like to work with acrylics and spray can.
Okay.
Mainly acrylic. Spray can more for heavy fill work or like effects.
Okay.
If it's a mural, then the more spray can I can use, the better, just because it goes faster. And I like working with spray can now.
Okay.
It's been about 2 years now. I did these trampoline parks here in the Valley, and then also in Illinois, and huge. Yeah, they were like 35,000 square feet parks, and it really upped my spray can game a lot. My can control, and then I had.
Wait. Let's just go back for a second. So how did you get connected with Illinois?
They found me here.
Okay.
Their company, Elevate Trampoline Parks, they found me here in Arizona,
that's
and
nice.
I put in a bid and got the bid for a few of their parks.
Awesome.
So I did three of their parks.
Okay.
But and I was a lot of my roommates were graffiti artists.
Okay.
And before really getting to know them, I didn't do too much of the spray can work. A little bit with the pop art, with my stencil work, but they kind of taught me how to use cans a little bit more. And then, like I said, when I had to do the murals for the trampoline parks, it really upped my spray paint.
That has to
quality.
be a little bit hard, coming from a brush, and then you have to use the.
It's different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
How long?
different.
And how long did it take you again to learn that technique with this?
I'm always learning. You
Yeah.
know. So now my can work, I think, is pretty clean, but it can use improvement, of course. And that's not only with your ability, like your actual technique, like the way you control the can with your hand, but also knowing your products. What tips to use,
Okay.
what brushes use, what paints can I use with the spray can. So it's really also, as much as you have your technique, your painting technique, you also have to know really your materials really well, like the general question that you're asking. So knowing my materials and how they interact with each other is really important. And I wouldn't call myself a speed painter, but I like to just power through things.
Okay.
So I like to, as soon as I start a project, I like to just go and go and go until I can't, because that's when the inspiration is. I really don't like putting down something and then trying to rework it and stuff, because your color palettes can change and your mental state is different, everything like that.
Yeah. Have you ever started a painting and then you're like, I'm not feeling this, and then just start all over again?
Oh yeah, for sure. I try not to do that too much now, but if it's really bad, because I go out and paint live, not as much as I used to,
Yeah.
but sometimes, when I paint live, I like to party and have a good time and drink while you're painting it, or sometimes I'm just exhausted and whatever I'm painting that night just isn't that great,
Yeah.
so the next day I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. And I buff over it. But now I really try my best to not do that and just see a painting through. That's a process that I had to learn, because when I started painting again, I really try to control the outcome. But I had to understand that somewhere in the beginning and the end of the painting kind of takes over for itself, and then the painting is going to dictate where it wants to go, and I have to just let go and then just trust that it's going to be complete. And if I complete it, then I'm 98% of the time I'm satisfied with the end product.
Okay. We're in your studio at the moment, and I'm looking at this elephant. I love elephants. They're a great symbol. Can you kind of like talk about that painting behind you a little bit?
Sure. This is a custom painting for a client of mine, and I actually met her at a 4th of July party. She just bought a house, and went over to her new house to look at her space, and this is going to go up right when you open up her front door. She has like a sitting area, and she wanted something. She loves elephants too, and she wanted something that represented strength and women in their, not so much their struggle, but just their daily life and their process through the day, kind of thing, you know. So that's why their women are walking. One has a child on her back, and the other ones are, you know, doing their
I can't wait to see the finished product of that one. Would you post that one?
Sure. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. This one's going to be fun, and I had just finished. I was really looking forward to doing this one. I had just finished a bride and groom painting, a commission painting for another client of mine. His parents are having their 50th anniversary, so that one was fun, but it was very, very studious, you know. But I had to put a lot of like soulful and almost spiritual intent in it, just because I'm not like a highly religious person, but just out of respect of marriage. Yeah. And 50 years of two people being together, you know, you're under the grace of God when you're, you know, getting married. So I really had to try to channel that feeling in that one. And this one for me is a little bit more, I say fun, just because it's a little less studious. I can be a little bit more abstract in the end result. You know, put a little bit more funkiness on it, you know.
If I wanted a painting at my house, so you would do that. You would go to someone's home and kind of fill the space out and give ideas. Okay.
Yeah, it's a complete, that's something else I'm learning as an entrepreneur too, just how to, throughout the years, how to speak with people, how to, you know, put in these bids. You know, it's a process of saying the right things to people to make the sale, and also not, how do you want to say it? Also not getting taken advantage of, not just my energy, but, you know, a lot of people like to say they want a painting and stuff, and, you know, I have to set guidelines and boundaries, I guess, you know, so that I'm not spinning my wheels for nothing.
True.
But yes, I do consultations, and then from there, typically a custom, if they're local, I do like to see their space. If they feel comfortable just sending me a picture of the wall, that's fine too. I discuss the size. You know, like I said, I do all the custom building, so we can do any size. And then from there, we do subject matter. I give them a price range, a sketching fee. Then after sketching fee, a deposit. And then from there, it usually takes about 2 weeks or so.
Awesome. So I know I've only been in Arizona for 6 years, feels like forever, but there's so many murals all over the place in Phoenix. What is the art community like here? I'm
mixed on it.
You could be honest.
That's why I kind of like to be honest, that's why I like staying in my little shed, just because I find that, and I don't think that's just with here, it's probably with anywhere. There's a lot of politics wherever you go. I try to be as independent as possible. That's why I've never really dealt with galleries too much. I've only had like, in the 15 years or so, I've only had like 3 official gallery showings. Other than that, if I do my own show, then I rent out a venue. It's not necessarily a specific gallery, and I just do my own show. But all the other artists, are, you know, for the most part, we get along. I try to do collabs with people every once in a while. But as a whole, I think that because Phoenix is still growing, there's a lot of, how they say, crabs in the pot, trying to pull the other crab down kind of thing. A lot of scenesters, a lot of people that to me aren't the best technical artists, but they're, you know, trying to be seen quite a bit and making waves by doing their own promotional stuff.
True.
My goal as an artist is, I do believe in community for sure, but as a goal, I really just want to live off of custom work and continue to build my online presence. That way I can be anywhere and sell work online, and that's what I've really been kind of focusing on. But, you know, I still get out and do paint live and do festivals and music events and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily have anything truly negative to say about the Arizona art scene. I just think it's continually to build. I just think that artists should, I don't know, play together a little bit better sometimes. You know, especially with the promoters, people that try to get artists, live painters. They need to kind of respect the visual artists just a little bit more. You know,
meaning
a lot of more paid gigs if they want us to come out and paint live.
Okay.
You know, it's fine. You know, if it's a really good event, I'll come out and paint live for free, whatever. If you know, you guarantee me there's going to be 5,000 people, 10,000 people, whatever. So I'm going to be able to come and bring some stuff and make some sales. But if you really want like a live artist to come and paint, you should drop them $100 or minimum fee or something, because obviously we have materials and travel and da 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 da. So I think there could be a little bit more respect on that end from promoters, from
and if you don't have a very strong art community with people collaborating together, if you did have that, then those are the things that, if the other guy's doing it for free, then they're going to expect you to do it for free.
Exactly. And that's where I think a lot of artists hadn't communicated, especially I would say we're in 2019. I would say there was a huge surge in live painting 2013. Between 13 and now, like everybody started coming out of the woodwork. Oh, I'm a live artist. I paint live. And that's fine. I'm not going to crap on anybody's parade if they want to get down and paint and stuff. But then everybody started kind of pretty much undercutting other artists. Oh yeah, I'll come out and I'll paint live. And then the thing about it is, like, I'll see them paint live and they're not really painting live. They'll come out with a painting that's already half done and kind of sit there and kind of dink around with it, but they're not really performing. Like for me, like I consider myself a performance artist. When I go there, I go with a blank canvas, and by the end of the night, there's going to be a finished product, or at least something that's going to be done enough where I could sell it, or the audience knows what's going on.
Okay.
I want people to engage, and like it feels good when somebody's like, "Oh my God, like I was just here an hour ago, and look how much is done."
Right.
So there's a huge difference in performance art and just setting up your art, and saying you're a live artist.
Well, yeah, well said. So I wanted to ask you, are you still doing the First Fridays?
I don't do First Fridays that much anymore. I haven't done it in a few months. I mean, I was a real big advocate of it. I did it straight for like 7 years. I got in First Friday right before they changed it to where you had to be part of a gallery to set up in front of a gallery.
They did change it?
Oh, yeah. Like I would say, 2006, 2005-ish is when I started, and you could literally set up almost in the middle of the street.
Wow.
And you didn't need any kind of tax ID, any permit. You didn't have to be a part of a gallery. And then it changed because the city wanted, its taxes from artists selling their work. So you had to be part of a gallery and have some of your artwork displayed in the gallery. It's a growing process, and I think that we could complain about it, but things change anyway, so just roll with the punches.
Right.
But I just don't like being out there anymore. The crowd's kind of changed, and it's really spread out, so it's just not worth it for me to be out there every once in a while. When the weather cools down, this year, I might go out there a couple months, but... Yeah.
And for those that don't know what First Fridays is in Phoenix, can you just kind of...
First Friday is one of the largest art walks, actually, in the United States, and it started off of... pretty much almost like 5th Street and Roosevelt, goes down to around 13th Ave and Grand. And it's a free art walk where vendors and artists and a lot of crafts too now open up and sell their art. It's basically like a little art celebration that's free. So it's still a really good night to go and walk around, check out the galleries and see some shows, some live music. It's a lot of fun. Now I kind of just enjoy it now just as a spectator when I go out, because it's been so long. I went to First Friday 2 months ago and just walked around, and I hadn't walked around the First Friday in years.
That's okay. That just means you've been leveling up.
Yeah, that's how I think about it too.
Right.
You don't want to forget kind of like your roots, but at the same time, there's other things that I feel that deserve my energy now.
Yeah, awesome. So, what excites you the most about doing what you do?
My quote is, on the path to freedom, you're only limited by your own imagination. So that's my personal quote, and that's kind of like just how I think about my art career, meaning, I can create anything I want, and I take responsibility for my career, my destiny and stuff. So if I'm having a crappy day, then that's on me. If I'm broke, then that's on me. But if I'm bringing in money and doing gigs, that's part of my own personal reward too, especially though that's not all on me when I'm with my successes. I mean, I have a huge support system too. So when I'm successful, I always try to be aware of my clients and my family and my support that I get. But what excites me is the fact that everything is up to me doing this, and if my mind is clear enough, if my body's healthy enough, I have enough energy, and I'm creative and smart enough, then I can do anything in my time while being here, and it really excites me too. Like, there's no monetary amount that I can put on no monetary amount that I can attach to when I really genuinely see somebody happy with my artwork, whether or not they buy it or not, and that's one thing about First Friday and doing vending gigs like that. It is pretty cool interacting with people, because that's part of art. That's truly what art is about. Art to me is about changing people's frequencies, their brain frequencies. And some people, as an artist, you have to take responsibility of it, whether you're in music, visual, dance. You have to be responsible, knowing that you're putting ideas in people's heads.
Yes.
So just for me, I want to put the idea of, like I said, calm, peace, beauty. It's kind of like basic feng shui,
Right.
So it excites me to know that I can be part of somebody's slight joy in their life.
Right.
Can
we, and I meant to ask you this when we first got started, your last name.
Yeah, Hendrix.
Hendrix. Now, is that connected with Jimi?
Mm-hmm. I'm a distant cousin.
Okay.
I consider myself the Hendrix, the painter of the Hendrix family. So I'm cousins with Tina. Tina is Jimi's niece.
Okay.
So Tina and Leon is Jimmy's little brother. They live in Seattle, and they get me out to Seattle every once in a while to do the memorial.
Oh, nice.
Whatever. So a distant cousin.
Okay.
I think technically it would be my grandfather is brothers with Al Hendrix, Jimmy's dad.
Okay.
So I think we're like third cousins or second cousins or something. Like
now, do you sing?
Third cousins. I sing a little bit. I play the guitar, but I do it for my own enjoyment. I would like to get a little bit more serious with it. Yeah. Maybe at a couple of my art gigs, I've always envisioned myself.
You want to sing something for us?
No. No. Good one. Nice try.
I know. Is there anything that you are experimenting with as it relates to your artwork?
No, I could just say that almost every piece is almost an experiment, and I think I want to just keep my mindset like that. I don't want to ever say that I know everything or mastered my craft, because then there's no room for growth. Mm-hmm. Every painting, I try to have a really open mind so that I can learn more about my technique. Maybe a mistake is something good happened out of it. I've had a few of those where I've came up with techniques that were mistakes, and I was like, oh no, that's actually pretty cool.
Right.
Let me just try to tweak this a little bit, and then now I'm on to something. Okay. So I look at, like I said, like every painting, especially stuff if it's not a commission, if it's just something out of my head, then everything's an experiment, kind of,
Nice. What do you draw the most?
If I'm drawing out of my head, then I like to do figurative humans. Like I said, comic book stuff was really a lot when I was a kid. So now I like to do a lot of nudes.
I saw the nudes.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty cool.
Figurative stuff has always been fun. I loved my figure drawing classes in college. I like to do more, just kind of like surrealism, dream stuff. Right.
It's very eclectic. It has I've seen the Buddhas, I've seen the women picture, the celebrities. It's a very eclectic mix.
Thank you.
Who are your biggest influences? And what inspires you?
When I found out that I was related to Jimi Hendrix, I consider him my first muse.
Okay.
I really got excited about to tell you the truth, I found out when I was about 6 or 7. I asked my dad, all the kids at school were like, oh yeah, I was related to this person famous. So I went home, I was like, hey Dad, are we related to anybody famous? Yeah. He was like, yeah, your cousin's Jimi Hendrix. And I was like, I don't know who that is. So literally I had to look him up in an encyclopedia. I was like, oh, okay, cool, rock star, all right. But I really didn't get into him until I was about 15, and I remember I bought a tape. I listened to his tape. It was Electric Ladyland, and it was right before school, and I listened to the whole tape, and I was like, I don't know, all these guys, everybody's kind of like, he's all right, but there was like 2 songs on there. There was a Voodoo Child, Silent Return, Gypsy Eyes, and probably like Crosstown Traffic. That kind of brought me back. Because that album's kind of long, but I just kept on listening to it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And then he's also, what influenced me to want to play the guitar. But just thinking about his life and his music and a little bit of the Hendrix, legacy, trying to keep that alive. And that really inspires me a lot. He's definitely, like I said, my first muse. Bruce Lee is the martial arts stuff.
Yes.
But the visual artists, the standards kind of, like I love the Picasso, Van Gogh, Da Vinci, Jackson Pollock, Basquiat, Andy Warhol, Monet, just kind of like the basic greats, so I go through them for inspiration. If I'm feeling low or if I just want to relax or something, I'll just put on YouTube and just look up art documentaries over and over and over and just, and I just start kicking myself in the head and the ass, being like, dude, just, all right, it's time. Like you got your mojo going again. So let's get in the studio and start busting out some work.
What is next for you? Do you have any upcoming events that people can go check out?
Normally, when the weather cools down, I paint at Solstice Saturdays at Bar Smith. It's downtown, 3rd Street in Washington. Saturday nights upstairs. I'll paint there every maybe like 3 times a month, but it's just kind of warm right now. So I'm always welcome to paint there. There's a big taco fest, I think downtown, which is a Saturday of September. I'll be painting live there. And there's another event in Tempe. It's called Open Mind Fest on the 24th. Both those events will have other artists too, obviously, and vendors and stuff. So those are kind of my next shows. I don't have anything big solo planned or anything. I've just been concentrating on doing commissions and trying to find more murals. I'd really like to get on the side of a building, do a mural on the side of a building if I can find a building to do. Nice. Murals definitely bring me the most joy. I like painting big. I kind of refuse to paint small. If
you could do a mural, what would it be?
Probably just some of my abstract, more kind of cubist dream stuff. I mean, almost like a montage of all my styles combined. So that's when I really get into think tank and draw and sketch and render and pull out references, because my mind works like Photoshop. My mind's always been creative, but then I went to school for graphic design, so it gave me kind of like a really good eye for things, and they taught me how to use Photoshop and Illustrator, so my mind started working more like Photoshop, like cut and paste. So I might get stimulated by an idea, whether the idea comes from real life, a dream, a thought, or whatever, then that might get stimulated by something else, and then I'll start looking at references on the computer, and then I go through Photoshop and kind of cut and paste stuff, and then with that, plus my drawing skills, kind of put something together. And then I take that and translate it to canvas or a mural.
Nice. Along with your artwork, you also perform JiuJitsu?
Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. Like, I've been doing martial arts on and off, also since I was like 7, because of my brother. My brother was really into Bruce Lee, and I just remember the first time I really did a little light in my head where I was chasing him down the hallway, and I was like 6, and he turned around and did like a floor sweep on me. And I just like, I got some air, boom, landed on my back. But I didn't get hurt. I stood up. I could tell by my brother's face, he was looking at me like, oh, did I hurt him? Is he going to cry? But we just started cracking up.
Right.
And then after that, I was really into Bruce Lee. So my mom didn't let me play football in high school and stuff, but she let me do Kung Fu. I was like, well, can I do martial arts? She's like, yeah, you can go back to martial arts. So I started martial arts, Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Shaolin style, that kind of stuff. Then I got into a little bit of dance, because I was really involved with a girl. She was a dancer, she was a really dope dancer, and would go out to clubs and stuff. So in order to hang out with this girl, I had to learn how to dance. So I started calling up my my friends that were break dancers and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
you
I
had
was
to
like,
up your game.
I had to up my game, exactly. So I started learning how to dance. But then the kids I was hanging out with, I noticed that their dance was a little different. I was like, what are you guys doing different? They're like, oh no, we do capoeira. I was like, capoeira, what's that? It was the Afro-Brazilian martial art. So then that's what really got my mind stimulated with martial arts. So that's the Afro-Brazilian martial art, capoeira. I did that for 6 years, and then I had my best friend Valentino move back, and he did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
So he was like, yo, B, I'll teach you some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu if you teach my daughter how to paint and maybe show me some capoeira.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I'll try it out, because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is mainly groundwork. It's judo takedowns, sometimes wrestling takedowns, where you get the person in the ground and you control them. with joint locks and submissions. But I thought my striking was, I mean, I'm not a fighter or anything like that, but I just like martial arts for training and self-defense and stuff.
Right.
But, you know, I've always grown up with striking and kicking and stuff. I was like, no, my striking and kicking is fine, you know. But then I started grappling. I was like, whoa, this is different. You know, this is like, there's just this different. Like, I just got manhandled.
Wow.
Like, I was like, all right, I gotta learn how to do this, because I just got headlocked twice really fast. And then from there, it plays a big role in my life, you know. So I'm 6 years now under Megaton Jiu-Jitsu. We're technically under Hoyler Gracie. I'm a purple belt, and I compete a little bit, but I'm not huge in the competition. I like to just compete a couple times in every belt level. I'm a 6-year purple belt, and I train. I try to be consistent, train anywhere from like 3 to 5 times a week. But it just keeps me healthy, keeps me out of trouble, keeps me from not drinking or smoking too much or all that kind of bad stuff that sometimes artists are prone to. It keeps me, you know, and also just exercise in general helps keeps my ego and emotions in check, you know. So when you go do jiu-jitsu, everybody in jiu-jitsu gets their ass whooped, you know, and that actually kind of feels good, because you just like, you kind of just get handled. Like your stress and stuff just gets handled. You're like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, I'm back to ground one, and it feels good. You know, you might still have all the problems are still there, but now your mind is clear and not jaded, and you can kind of think about them afterwards. Plus exercise, you know, releases endorphins and feel good about yourself, you know. So I always say, get out of your mind into your body. So that's, you know, you don't have to be a martial arts to do that. You can just exercise. I always tell my friends that are just, that's all they do is paint. I'm like, dude, you need a hobby, man. Why don't you come train with me, or like, let's go work out. Let's hit the gym a little bit.
Do you find yourself, when you have a good, training, that you're motivated to go ahead and paint?
Sometimes in the mind, my body is like, oh, I'm tired. Go night, nap time. No, but my mind is real clear. So if I have a good training session, then yeah, I usually come home, take a nap, and then I just feel clear and relaxed. You know, and feel like you did something good today. Even if nothing else goes your way, at least you went to class and trained a little bit and worked out, did something good for your body. Right.
Do they teach? Do you have to be like in shape to join something like this?
Not at all. A lot of people think that. A lot of people are like, oh, I got to get in shape to go to class. I'm like, no, man. Like, number one, you're never gonna be in shape. When you do jiu-jitsu, there is no end.
Really?
Like, there's no end. No, there's no end. Like, you can, but that's the thing with jiu-jitsu. Everybody, most people don't understand, that everybody there is very, very accepting. Like, everybody knows that everybody's at their own level. Okay. You train at your own level. And of course it's a martial art, and like my teachers are old school. Like, they'll yell at you and push you and sometimes make you throw up and stuff. Right. But at the end of the day, you're doing what you can do. Okay. And that's the main thing, and that's what we tell everybody. Everybody starts from ground zero. Like, I bring friends in, they feel really awkward doing the movements. I'm like, dude, and like even the other black belts, they're like, don't worry about it, man. We've all been there. We've all felt like this and that, and like even after 6 years, I'm learning stuff, and sometimes I just don't get it. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't get that movement, you know, but I'm going to try it. Right. You know, but it's martial arts to me, you know, it's another language. So it's just like,
do they have like in that 1 hour self-defense classes that people can just, instead of doing the whole belt thing, do they have like classes that someone like me who's, you know, super short and needs to defend herself? For the actual Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's very regimented. Like, if you want to do something like that, you probably have to take, you know, private lessons and tell your instructor, this is specifically what I'm looking for. Okay. Other than that, you kind of just have to go in class and then start from ground zero and then work your way up. But that's a beautiful thing, because when you're there, there's so many different body types. You know, you have a body type, I have a body type, and you're gonna practice with somebody that's similar to you, and then you're gonna practice with somebody that's not similar to you. You're gonna practice with somebody that has similar limitations as you, and then you're gonna practice with somebody that's like super non-limitless. Okay. You know, so it really opens your mind, and just kind of, I always relate to life. You know, it's just like everything is different in life. So you can get hit with all these different things. You just have to kind of get back up and have a calm, clear perception about stuff and keep going. Right. Especially as an entrepreneur, you have to keep calm. You have to be calm. You can't. It's hard. You can't get down on yourself too much. Yes. So, jiu-jitsu really, really helps me with
my discipline, keeping my mind calm, keeping depression out of the way, keeping too much booze and bad stuff out of my life,
It gives you a balance.
It definitely gives me a balance. Plus, I like being the artist that can put you in a headlock.
That's awesome. Okay. Before we wrap it up, if there's someone out there that is just getting started, and wants to get into art, what advice would you give them? Just
concentrate on your body of work. Find artists that you look up to, whether they're find ones that are the greats that are passed away, but try to find some people that are doing it, that are alive, that you can actually talk to and maybe get under their wing or go to their shows or something, and role model yourself around that. Just keep on doing your craft, whether it's painting, dancing, sculpture, whatever it is. Just keep doing it, and believe in your technique, and have an open mind for education. Yes. Don't close your mind off. Don't think that you know everything. Be open to learning new things, even if it's not a style you want. Just be aware that it exists. Yeah. Because you never know what that can stimulate to make a person grow.
Right. And you're still learning. Mm-hmm. Do you think that you're the same artist as 10 years ago?
No, it's weird. Some of the stuff I did 10 years ago, I can't do anymore, even though I like what I did. Yeah. But my technique has gotten so much better that I can't. It's hard for me to regress to that style. Like my new nudes, my most recent nudes that I did, I was trying to go back to a style that I used to do, and I couldn't do it. Although I really liked how they came out, but these are way different from where I was at, 10 years ago. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm definitely different. I think I have the same concepts in my mind, and initially I still have the same vision of the way I like my work to feel afterwards. Right. But my technique and stuff has changed a little bit.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add or discuss that perhaps we didn't touch on today?
Not really. I'm just want to say I'm really grateful for the opportunity you gave me right now. So thank you for coming to my space and doing what you do too. Finding out about artists, because we need this kind of exposure, and also it just feels good to. We
got to get that community together.
Exactly. It feels good to know that there's other people that are into the arts and support the arts and willing to do the opposite side of the story. Yes. So that's really important to us. So thank you. And I just want to say I'm just really grateful for the life that I live, and
I can't wait to see what you have next. I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome. And so please tell us, what is the best way for our listeners to contact you, to learn where you're going to be, what else you got going on, what's the best way?
I'm pretty transparent. If there's somebody out there that needs a mural or some custom art, you always can just send me a text message, 480-217-1831. If you want to see my work, my Instagram is Hendrix, HENDRIX _ Banding, BANDING, and Facebook is Banding Hendrix. That's about it. And you can pretty much Google my name, and my stuff will come up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.
I
learned so much. Thank you for listening. Please visit the website at www.leveluptribes.com, and please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. Catch you all next time, my beloved tribes.